Baloyi Chiwenga, who happens to be the wife of retired General Chiwenga, about 10 minutes ago, has posted a very, very interesting statement. In myself, I'm thinking, is what I'm going to say the meaning of this statement, or again, I'll be lost? Because she says she was misunderstood when she responded to one of the commentators on her Facebook account asking her about Themba Mliso. She said Venezuela is very far from Zimbabwe. And in her latest post about a few minutes ago, she said she was understood and declared that it's going to be a very long week in Zimbabwe. Quite interesting. What does she mean? And also, I'll be looking at the comment section to understand that. Did they also understand what exactly she means? Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. Most of the times, Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga does not write statements with political connotations, but this time around, these statements cannot be related to anything outside what is politically unfolding in Zimbabwe. Listen to what she wrote. She says, Pandakataura mashoko ashef betu ekuti Venezuela is very far from Zimbabwe. Hamuna kunzwisisa mashoko angu. So he says when she spoke the language of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa, that Venezuela is very far from Zimbabwe, they did not understand her. Remember, that statement was spoken when one of her followers asked her about her response regarding the allegations that were made by Themba Mliso. So she goes on to say, Honai manje zwabe. Honai manje. He says, in simple terms, when I've explained, he says, see now how the situation is, and continued, put three dots, and continued, it's going to be a long week. And then she put these icons on Facebook, with tears coming out, and then the other one holding the chin, the other one saying be quiet, the other one saying I'm zipping my mouth. She said, good morning everyone. Something is up. She knows something. A lady like Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga definitely speaks from an informed position, and there is something that she is aware. And when she tells you, "Wonai manje kwa zwabe," it's going to be a long week. She declares that this week is going to be very, very long. What is it that she knows that is going to happen, which will make this week very, very long? Take it into consideration that today there is a constitutional court judgment. It was supposed to be delivered at 9:30. It's something that we will also be tracking on. And also remember Knox Chivero. Late night yesterday, before I could sleep, I was forced to just come and sit on this desk. These days it's very cold sitting on this desk. So I come when there are really matters of national significance to talk about them. Knox Chivero declared, he said, members of parliament who will go to parliament today, they should go there at their own peril, giving a warning for them not to go in the parliament. We will also be looking at that story as time goes on and be tracking today's activities in the Zimbabwean parliament. I know a lot of actually individuals, sometimes because these warnings have been given numerous times, they are no longer taking heed to such warnings. But to me, knitting it with what has been written by Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga, I'm quite sure that something interesting is about to happen in Zimbabwe. So let me read the comment sections. You know, people say, Kolani Mzigayise Mzimpo saying, now Venezuela is in the room, not even next door. We are watching like Zakeu on top of the tree. Someone saying, Olinda saying, we are too slow, Mama. Tell us. Someone says, Kiki, this beautiful army officer is also a trusted soulmate to General Benyika, is too much intelligent and wiser. And then someone says, you guys are cooking. Someone says, your royal madam, President, morning. Someone says, yeah, this one, he located it. He says, it was a post by someone who had said, Honorable Temba Mliswa, Aguyenderera, and you responded saying, Venezuela is far from Zimbabwe. Someone says, Kiki, let the good times roll. Someone saying, interesting week ahead. Canaan is now nearer. You see, this is the impression that people are getting. I'm telling you, that statement is going to make internet to be abuzz at no time. It's an interesting week. There is a constitutional judgment. The judgment of the Constitutional Court will be consequential. There is also a vote. Ziambi is trying to push the vote for and conclude illegal constitutional amendment bill number 3. It's going to be interesting. Also remember, the constituencies in Zimbabwe have filed cases against members of parliament and demanding that they respond within 10 days. Those 10 days have elapsed. And also Knox Chivero says, members of parliament, don't go to the parliament precinct today. Do so at your own peril. And not only that, a few days ago, I think I posted the story, the war veterans publicly charging Emerson Tambo Mnangagwa, announcing their charge sheets. I did the story, I think it was yesterday or a day before yesterday. It's quite interesting what is happening in Zimbabwe, and definitely what Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga is saying are not empty words. Venezuela is far from Zimbabwe. A Venezuelan situation, a president just woke up in the morning, arrested, and transported to the United States of America. And Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga says, when I say Venezuela, repeating the statements of the president, that Venezuela is far away from Zimbabwe, most of you misunderstood me. Look at the situation now. It's going to be a long week, taking into consideration on these developments that have been ongoing. Of course, the retired General Chiwenga faction has been issuing a lot of statements. Sometimes I'm sure people are actually getting tired of these statements because they do not materialize into action, of which people want action as in yesterday. But as I always keep on saying, an action of that magnitude needs to be well calculated. You don't just wake up from your slumber and implement such an action. It has to be well planned, it has to be well orchestrated, and you must ensure that it becomes a success, because if it foils at the end of the day, you are done with. It will be, an embarrassment. to yourself as well as your legacy, people reading about you. So those who are promising action, definitely, if ever they are to implement this action, it has to be well calculated. It's just, you don't have to just rush the action, so that at the end of the day, you don't undertook decisions that would be costly to your life, as well as also costly to your children, as well as your legacy. It will be quite a long week today. That's why if you see me coming here, sitting in the morning, speaking about these stories, that's why I didn't have energy speaking about the story of Rutendo, and of course it builds into what is happening. But this is where there is the story now. You know what I'm talking about now. This is where there is a story which may lead us to progress. Definitely, these are not, I think these words are better understood by Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga, but she has also, the little bit of information that she has given us is preparing us for this week. Declaring that see what is happening this week is going to be long. Of course, she was laughing at some point, saying, "No, I will just keep quiet," which means she knows. Remember, she's married to one of the men who is at the center of what is happening in Zimbabwe at the moment. Most probably, she knows all the strategies. She is aware of what is happening and what is going to happen, but she can't preempt everything at the moment. But if you hear her being confident, speaking like this, something already may be happening. Remember also information transmission in Zimbabwe. Sometimes something that happens a day ago, we get to be excited to hear it today, because of the political nature. We are led by a demagogue, and the demagogue government, controls information like no other man's business. But definitely, the news, people should be glued onto their phones, especially because we won't get anything from ZPC and these other media houses which have to clear from their bosses. Us, the moment we receive the story and hear that Zimbabweans ought to know about this, we come here, we start rolling the story, and no one will say anything. So we are looking at that story and more with keen interest. Is Minnie Baloyi Chiwenga giving a signal? Thank you very much for watching us. If you're watching us for the very first time, please don't forget to subscribe, because you get to be left behind because you are not subscribed to the channel. If you are interested in the channel and these stories, be subscribed so that when I come through, you get to be the first one to watch us. Okancube Umhlabane is signing off. Let me love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side of the live broadcast as I give you more.